again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with you all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
Favorite time of the week, but not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly, fans, brews, and Broncos news. What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, No BS. My name is Kev Dan. We are glad you are here tonight as we break down the end of the postseason. Looking forward to week one. We have special guest Aaron from the Broncos Fancast. How you doing, buddy?
Hey. Man, I'm doing great, man. Appreciate you guys having me. Big time,
yeah,
especially
definitely.
Since nobody knows who the hell I am yet. So,
well, this will be your introduction to Broncos country. Then we'll give you a chance to give a shout out to your show and all that stuff.
for sure.
Jared and David, gents, how you guys doing?
You know, some technical difficulties getting this show started, so we appreciate everybody sticking with us there. But other than that,
yeah,
so good. The last preseason game is behind us, and now the only football left to play this season counts.
Yep, agreed. You're right. We did have some technical difficulties, so if you could help us out and hit that share button for us, because I didn't get a chance to do all of that, and then we might still have a few difficulties. So we're just going to roll with it and hope that you guys are seeing this. If there's any problems with the show, let us know in the chat, and that'll help me maybe catch it sooner. We have Dan up in here. Dan Miller, how you doing? Good to see you. We got Rob as well. Rob from Orange Weekly, the Orange Weekly staff. Keith O'Donnell, good to see you again as well, buddy. Let's go Broncos. Hey guys, so the Broncos made NFL history today. If you guys didn't hear that, I don't know if you guys did or not. The Broncos are the first team in NFL history to release a Hall of Fame player from the roster. So
that can't be true.
None of that. There's so many parts of that aren't true.
That can't be true.
You can't be in the Hall of Fame until you retire.
Where to start? So
you got to be in the Hall of Famer.
He's the
Hall
Pro
of
Football.
Famer.
I mean, he's got equipment in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, but he's
Hall
not
of Famer quarterback. The Broncos released two quarterbacks today. Okay, in Johnson and it's been a sad day for all of us in Broncos country to lose that star. That's my take on it. I don't know. That's what I'm going to start with.
You took my question right out of my mouth. I was going to ask you what you guys thought about the Broncos releasing a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Well,
it was.
Yeah,
Aaron, you're going to fit in just fine on this show.
I wasn't going to indulge Kevin's little bits here because you're like, where's this going? And then you find out where it's going.
Nowhere.
And it's like, oh, that wasn't worth it. But here we are, and we might as well start here. Kendall Hinton cut today. Obviously, today was cut down day when the roster had to be cut down to the initial 53. So, what do you guys think? Was there a bigger surprise than Kendall Hinton for you?
I mean, I think that the other two big surprises is Muti.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big one for me. The offensive line just seems like could have used him at the guard position, but they didn't see him as a long term. So that was another surprise. I mean, there was like probably about 3 or 4 like relative surprises, like not Not like, oh my gosh, but definitely like, that kind of sucks.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, really quickly, Ryan, here, your question. I don't want to skip your question and miss it later on. So no, the Hall of Fame game, yeah, it's part of the festivities of the Hall of Fame weekend. So
nobody else indulge Kevin.
Stop
He's just
indulging
out here
Kevin.
playing
Yes.
out by his own
I
rules.
want to be.
Yeah.
No, you
fun.
should indulge me. Yes.
No, you shouldn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, what's
Yes.
your biggest what's your biggest shock of the 53-man cut?
So I guess the first name that I saw that really surprised me was McTelvin Agene. I thought, especially with that last game he played, he was playing very well. I thought, and I thought that was, especially with, we're trying to get the depth right in our trenches a little bit. I thought he would have been a name that would have stuck around. But yeah, so that one shocked me, and then Kendall Hinton obviously after that one, and then a name that actually shocked me as far as staying on the squad was Jalen Virgil. That one I thought he was going to be a cut. That was a borderline one for me, but I thought he was going to end up getting cut, but they kept him.
Yeah, and his spot on the roster may have something to do with Brandon Johnson's injury.
That's what I was just going to say. Yeah,
it's really awful for Brandon Johnson. But so he's got a high ankle sprain. It's a little complicated what they're going to end up doing with him, but it does sound like he needs more than a short-term IR window to come back from it. So they said they do want him back this season at some point, but for now he's going to start the season on injured reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a big one. Jalen Virgil obviously being the first undrafted rookie to be staying on the team, which I think we have a record of. I don't know how many years it is now, which is love
18 out of the last 19.
It's awesome.
18. I love it. I love the fact that we're keeping undrafted rookies. However, he took the spot of guys like Kendall Hinton and Seth Williams, who had great preseasons. And earlier today, George Payton said it's all about the speed. It's all about the fact that Jalen Virgil has the speed, and I think they want him to be that backup to KJ Hamler's speed. And use him in the special teams. I think they have more use for him in the special teams than the other two did.
Hey, Zach, appreciate your support. Seriously, if you're joining the show for the first time, this is what we do. We do this for the fans because we talk about the Broncos amongst each other all the time anyway. We might as well talk to you all and hear what you all have to say and think about everything going on. So seriously, Zach, thank you for the support. Let's see. Do you guys want to bring back Drew Lock? What do you think?
No.
I mean,
no.
Hey, we'll trade you Rippin for Lock and bring back Lock.
How did Drew Lock play against the Cowboys backups?
Well, they were not planning on him actually playing.
Did he throw 3 interceptions, or was that?
Hey, all the way up until this last preseason game, Seattle was 100% on board with Drew Lock being their starter.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's true. No,
I think that was the understanding.
I think Gino.
That was the media. That was what they told the media.
That's not at all what they told the media. I mean,
it's 100% what they told
when they came here. But Pete Carroll said at the beginning of training camp that Geno Smith was the number 1 guy, and then he said last week that Geno Smith has been the number 1 guy all along. They were going to give.
I don't remember hearing any of that.
Well, I mean, it's fine. It's there. But he also was going to start Drew Lock once against the Bears, and then that's the day that Drew Lock got COVID. So I don't really. It doesn't really seem to me like Drew Lock was their plan going into this, or the guy they really wanted to win this. Even to me.
I'm honestly completely shocked that people even still think he can be a starter at this point.
Right.
He's had so many chances. I mean, he's had a terrible run of luck, but he's just not taking advantage of any possible opportunities. And it's still crazy to me that people think that he still can make that fight for the starting job, because it's just not there.
I don't hate the guy, but I'm with you, Aaron. He had so many opportunities to get in there in games and then just really went sideways real fast. Mm-hmm. What was the game that we went to, Kevin David? Was it
The Chargers
It
game.
wasn't.
Was it the Chargers game?
Did he go in on that game? Was that the game where he like fumbled immediately and then like pretty much immediately upon going in, he like fumbles the ball and it was just it was like, dude, you're getting your chance, man. Like you got to be able to take advantage.
And it's like a lot of the times it's not even his fault, but just because he's Drew Lock, it happens.
Yeah.
That's the Drew Lock luck there, you know.
Yeah. Right.
So talking about quarterbacks, super happy Russell Wilson made the squad. You know, we didn't get to see any of him. No preseason time for him. Didn't even get a chance to show off what he could do. Glad he can make it. And then the backup quarterback situation, Rippon. I know last week we talked about Rippon versus Johnson, and Rippon won the job. And I think in that third preseason game, he just came out and just showed that he's the guy for the job for the backup position.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Agreed.
looks
Nothing else.
solid.
Okay.
No.
We were going to talk about that.
The only comment is, you know, like what needed to have happened for it to go the other way. Because I was telling David at the game, you know, if Johnson had gone out there and just lit it up in that second half, you know, he had 2 weeks against playing against the twos. He should have been, you know, just tearing it apart out there against the reason for is people not even on the squad anymore. And he fell short there, man. I think that's what did him in.
I think it was close too.
It was close.
Like, yeah,
I think
it feels like,
and they gave him a fair shot, I think.
Sure. Yeah. But it just felt like the reports out of camp all August had them kind of neck and neck as far as it went. And we just edged, you know, we just saw Rippon edge out Johnson in that last preseason game. I really do think it came down to that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it seems like Rippon just seems to be like the more consistent. Yeah, he's Mr. Consistency to me out there.
Yeah.
You know, Josh Johnson has like a good drive, then dud for a couple of drives, you know, then a good drive. But Rippon just seems like he's doing the right things here and there every time, you know, for the most part. Yeah. So I'm glad we just kept one of our own, you know.
Great.
And as a backup, that's what you need. You need someone that's going to be a little bit more consistent. You can't have somebody like, I don't know who we're going to get today or on this drive.
Right.
So,
right. Cough, Drew Lock. Brad Smith. Are we worried starters may be a bit underdone with next to no minutes of preseason or good management? I don't know. What are your guys? So it's been a big take in general is the way Hackett's been running the preseason with just, I guess, a much more lighter, I guess you can call it environment or whatever. But what do you guys think at this point? Are you guys worried from what you've seen in preseason with tackling or toughness or anything like that?
Honestly,
yeah. Sorry, Aaron. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say. I mean, it's just nice that we have a fourth preseason game to be able to get ourselves together with against the Seahawks with Russell Wilson and everybody. So I
like your attitude. I like your attitude.
So I love it. I think we'll be fine. We'll get it all together within that game.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it at all.
For me, the guys that didn't play the preseason are guys that have been there before. Like, you don't have to show you've been there when you have been there. Like they're going to go out there. They've seen the speed of the game. They know the lights. They know the pressure. I don't think any of the guys that we sat are going to be rusty in any way, shape, or form. So I think that's a non-issue.
Yeah, they're ready to go.
Agreed. No, I think I'm glad to see where we are right now health wise. I think it's going to definitely pay off in the long run. So. Look, maybe there might be a missed tackle or two in the first game or something like that. It's something like, okay, yeah, if they had a tougher preseason, he maybe would have made that or just something ridiculous. I don't know. But by the time we get to the end of the season, you know, I think it'll pay off. And I mean, we'll see what people are going back and saying, you know, by December. So.
Yeah. I think this is one of those things, and the other reason I like Coach Hackett is this is one of those things that I think the NFL Players Association has been asking for a long time. Yeah. Like, why are we going so hard in the paint in preseason? Why are we trying so hard in early before the season starts and like training camp and stuff like that? Why are we getting all these injuries? Why can't we just, you know, keep it nice and easy and then let us play when we're ready to play? And in season, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tougher. They're going to be going a little harder in practice. I think this is something that I think Hackett's coming around to being more of a player's coach and being like letting him, okay, yeah, let's take it a little easy during the preseason.
Yeah,
but yeah, absolutely.
That's something I love about Nathaniel Hackett too, is the new the new generation. I feel like he's just kind of bringing everything was super old school before that, but now that he's coming here, he's bringing the whole new mentality, and I'm loving it. The whole
new energy, it's
team, everything, energy. Yeah, exactly.
But at the end of the day, he's still upholding the same standard that was here before of winning, that winning culture. So that is what at the end, is the bigger takeaway. You can bring in whatever system or culture you want, but are you committed to that winning method or whatever the case is to get your team to where it needs to go? And I think that's what he's bringing in. So
well, and that's I think one of the most invaluable things about Russell Wilson right now too is Hackett is reinforcing that culture, but he hasn't been there really. You know what I mean? He's been to the playoffs a few times as an offensive coordinator, but Russell Wilson's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. So that kind of, that winning culture just kind of emanates from him as well right now, primarily, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the best transition. You have a guy like Russell Wilson leading an offense, leading a team into a playoff situation, and now Hackett has been there, right? He's been in the playoffs. He's gotten a few things before we have to start moving on. So I think that's a good transition. I agree.
Yeah.
And that was one thing I was worried about with Nathaniel Hackett too, was the fact that he's new and coming into Russell Wilson has been doing it for so long. And I feel like, coaches who come in who are new like that, it could be easy to lose your team quick, or get steamrolled. And he's earning his respect as well as still being, a big time players coach. And I love that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
I think you can really see that shown in the bounce back between game 2 and 3. Like those guys, you get beat down like that. You're kind of a big laughing stock, in the preseason for what it's worth. There's no other real news going on. So they're going to pick on something like that. But you go out there, you bounce back the next week, you stick to the system and what the coach preaches and, come out with a really solid plan with some improvements all across the board. Defense looked great. Special teams, good, so I like where we're at. I like the progression we made. And also, how many times did you say, crap, coach made a time management mistake or that was a bad coaching mistake? I mean, how many times did you guys say that during the preseason?
During this preseason? Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that's not real season, so I didn't really care. No,
but
I turned to Kevin at one point during the game because it was 2 minutes and 5 seconds left in the first half. And it was about to be 3rd and long for the Vikings. So Nathaniel Hackett called timeout. And they stopped them on that 3rd down, and then they had to punt, and we got it with a 2-minute drive left. And that was just not Vic Fangio's style. And it was really, whether you call it a mistake or it was just like, because he kept not doing it over and over and over again, which suggested to me that he just didn't want to.
Yeah, this is my style. Yeah,
right. Yeah, either way, it was really, really refreshing to see that.
Definitely.
They told me I get paid $5,000 for every timeout I don't use this season, so
that's
we're just gonna keep those in my pocket.
Yeah.
So,
but who is what? Never mind.
But he got to spend them all. He wanted to save them up for his challenges, his pointless challenges.
Yes,
David,
exactly.
Don't bring those up. Can we not? Okay. So let's move on. Let's talk. So we talked about quarterbacks. I'm just going to go down the list. Let's go running backs. Let's go offense. We're going to stay with offense. Running backs, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. Again, super happy they made the team. Didn't see any of them in preseason. And then Mike Boone. Mike Boone, I think really, we kind of knew what we got from him. He had a pretty good preseason. I think there's no really surprise there.
Definitely.
No.
Yep.
He's a guy, think about it. If we needed him to have a much more active role, I'm not looking at that as a bad situation. I mean, he's shown that he can really turn on those burners. He can get going in no time, right? So
he was a much quicker and faster back on Saturday than he looked like at any point to me last year, at the very least.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. I think he looks a lot more shifty and quick and jukey than I remember from before. So yeah. That's a nice switch.
But he has some of that anger. He has that Javonte anger. I don't know if he's like, if him and Javonte sat down, had a couple beers and, jived together or something, but man, he's picking up that energy. And I
mean, they were on angry runs together last season. They were both on there. So
there you go. That might have been the thing. So, but no, not surprised at all. And I'm that trio right there is really good. I'm really happy with it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so wide receiver. So we had our guarantees, right? Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Montreal Washington. We knew those guys were going to make the team. Tyree Cleveland, Jalen Virgil. I know we talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the episode. I feel like Tyree Cleveland, Jalen Virgil, Seth Williams, and Kendall Hinton were kind of on the same playing field for me, and it was kind of up to what they saw in training camp and what they saw in the preseason game. So what do you guys think?
Yeah. See, the only Virgil played really well. I just think, and it's not just my love for Hinton, but man, he had some really good plays, especially in that first game. You didn't see him too much in the second game, or you didn't see anybody in the second game. But I don't know. I just think the way he stood out, especially in that first game, just showed that he had improved a ton from that last year, and was willing to do what it took to catch that ball, right? So got a couple touchdowns and whatnot. So I mean that's kind of why that surprised me. But at the same time, I can completely understand why Virgil got the position he did, because he flat out deserved it. He played lights out as well. So
and they definitely made a ceiling play with Virgil. As much as we all love Kendall Hinton, and it's deserved love, I think his ceiling probably rounds out at middle of the road, number 3 in this league. And Jalen Virgil's ceiling is just a lot higher than that. I didn't realize his size profile. He's 6'1" and 210, and he's got the speed that he does.
Wow,
so yeah, exactly. So that to me was kind of if they saw about the equivalent level of play from them throughout camp, that the move makes sense to me, as rough as it is to say for Kendall Hinton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think it had to do with potential, because Kendall Hinton, to me, I mean, he caught touchdown passes. He looked like he did enough to make the team for sure, just based on that, and just what he means to Bronco country in general. Jalen Virgil making the team over him, to me, just lets me know that they think that he can reach a higher level than Kendall Hinton can, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyree Cleveland, I think Tyree Cleveland's a special teams keep. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be honest. Yeah. I think they could use him better in special teams. They can use the other two. I like the other two better as wide receivers than Tyree Cleveland. Don't get me wrong, I love all these guys, for the record. Mm-hmm. But I think this keep was definitely a special teams move, to be able to use him on special teams, because not for nothing, Tyree Cleveland is an amazing special teams player.
For sure.
Right.
Okay.
What about Seth Williams?
He just didn't do enough. It was a crowded room, and he played well, but everybody played well. Kendall Hinton played well. Jalen Virgil played well. Brandon Johnson played well. So if everybody's going to play well, then you've got to do something that's special. And he just didn't.
Completely agree.
I see both those guys, Seth Williams and Kendall Hinton, getting picked up on waivers tomorrow. Right. I can see someone picking those guys up on waivers tomorrow. Someone that needs wide receivers, like, I don't know, Miami, or I don't
Dallas.
know, maybe some of these other teams. Dallas. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
we did do a bunch of preseason games with them.
So what's so with Brandon Johnson, he gets waived, right? And but because of an injury, so does he? I read something that says he has to go through waivers, and it's possible that we can get him back. Well, I don't understand it. Like, what's going on there?
So the way I read it was that he didn't go. He got put on injured reserve today, which means that he is out for the rest of the season unless they subject him to the waiver wire. And then if they put him through waivers to bring him off the injured reserve, then they can re-sign him to the active roster. They'd have to cut another player to do that.
So another team could sign him and going through the waivers,
claim him off waivers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the way this is probably going to work is they're going to wait for the other teams to claim their waivers for the next week.
Yeah.
And then they take them off IR after all the teams are filled and there's no one that really needs that extra wide receiver. They're going to put him on waivers, and then as soon as he doesn't get signed, they can pull him back to the practice squad.
Or the active roster, yeah.
Or the active roster, right? Yeah. But you could pull him back to practice squad whenever, too.
Sure.
Because we only have a couple veteran, and we'll get to those here in a minute, but we only have a couple guys that we're going to re-sign that we did not need to waiver because they were a veteran status. So we have them, and they're going to re-sign with the team back on the practice squad, and that's probably what I think they're probably going to do. Wait a little period of time until like right before the season starts, and then go, oh, we're waiving him. Anybody want him? Everyone's gonna be like, nope, roster's full, and then we're gonna pull him back in.
Okay. Yeah, I'm shocked that they even had the opportunity to allow another team to possibly claim them.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It might be one of those cases where, we and the coaching staff have a little bit better view on him than maybe some around the league do. So it's not going to be something where he's in super high demand just because, if anybody was going to pick up another receiver, they'd rather go with somebody who's been in their system. But also it's going to be really interesting to see how that does play out when they do decide to pull him off. Because George Payton said he wants to have him back at some point this season. It's just, a high ankle sprain. That's like, it's one of those injuries that's not really, really bad per se, but you have to let it heal by itself. And it just takes a while.
Like a hamstring.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. So it may be.
We'll have to get Jason's take on the high ankle sprains on the Monday after dark shows. I
mean, remember, isn't that what happened to Ryan Clayton? No, Ryan Clayton had a Liz Frank injury. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah. That was
all
right. So we cut our tight end room from like 52 to 4. We're down to 4 tight ends. Okwebanam, Dulcich, who again didn't see any in the preseason, he's probably going to be injured through week 4. I want to say week 5.
Yeah, he's same thing.
Yeah, week
Andrew 5 Andrew Beck, who's kind of like our all around player. He can play fullback and tight end. Has been with us for a while, and then Eric Saubert. Any surprises there? Any of you guys like really surprised that we're keeping 4 tight ends maybe?
And it's going to be, I mean, it's going to be more because they're going to. Isn't Eric Tomlinson going to be signed back? Eric Tomlinson's the other one of the veterans who got cut today, who's probably going to be re-signed.
He'll go back to the practice squad. Yep.
Tomorrow. Yeah, because they'll then put another player on IR. So, it's interesting to me that they keep that many. It does say to me that they are planning to run a lot of 2 tight end sets this season, and we talked about it a little bit after the first preseason game. Not only run those sets, but use them to take deep shots out of. So I think it's a signal on how the Broncos are going to use their personnel creatively this season.
Mm-hmm. I also think it possibly mean that they have a lack of trust possibly in the tight ends, and they're trying to maybe figure out who's going to really stick out, because they had Okwebanam playing, through the fourth quarter the other day. I feel like, if he gets his blocking down, he'll be the guy. But the fact that he's struggling with the blocking is probably why I feel like they kept other tight ends around.
I can believe it.
Good point. I didn't think about that. I forgot that they kept Okwebanam in the game for a long time, and to the point where people were kind of questioning it. Like, I'm pretty sure that's our starting tight end in there.
Why is he out there?
Right.
Because I mean, he's by far right now with Dulcich out for 5 weeks. He's by far number 1 tight end.
Yep.
So, okay, now we're gonna get into some real conversation.
Okay.
Offensive line. All right, so here's where we kept Garrett Bowles. Thank God. Whew. All right. Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushman.
We can't do that. We have to not do that joke at some point. That's all I'm trying to
do. David, right, David, it does not. It never stops being funny.
No, David is a stick in the mud.
That's funny too.
David's
here's my impression. Here's my impression of David at a Broncos
so excited
game.
For this. So excited. I mean,
Hey David, the wave's coming. We're gonna do the wave. Okay.
I would not do the wave. This is true. This is accurate. I was and am highly against the wave at all sporting events.
Makes me want to shout, everybody!
I have questions now. Yes, this is my. Oh my gosh, Keith, thank you so much. This is the question I was about to ask.
Well, Jared hurt me. And I'll tell you, we can go deeply into that if you want to, but in the 20 years that I have known dear Jared, we have been able to hurt each other very deeply. And so Jared's the one who hurt me. I'm not entirely sure that he's the one who took away my sense for the fun that is the wave. but I don't participate in it. I don't believe in it. There was a player injured on the field at one point while the crowd just did the wave.
Oh my God, for like 10 seconds.
Incredibly undignified.
Like
that's
10
all.
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Were you cramping, David? Was like, did you try to go up one time and be like, and then like never again, never again?
I will tell you, though,
I tried.
there was some very doughy stadium pizza that we're not going to talk too much about, but it was definitely undercooked, and it weighed me down like a stone in the stomach. It was pretty rough.
Good.
It was pretty. Kevin was into it. I was not. So much.
I was.
Yeah.
I will say this: when
goodness.
it comes to doing the wave, I'm like you. I just can't find myself to stand. I just can't do it. I just can't. I mean, my energy is there everywhere else when it comes.
Like
when
70,000 other people are doing it.
But
great, it's fine. Jerry understands. Put Jerry's comment up on the screen.
Oh,
Kevin.
gosh.
Put it up on the screen right now. That's right.
That's all the puffball does when you walk. It just waves.
That's why we don't need to wave at a stadium.
It's just
That's why you don't have to wave at a stadium, Jared. You get your waving on the walk in. Okay. My gosh.
Aaron, we're gonna clear this up, and I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. So here at Orange Weekly, we have a little bit of a friendly battle that started off as a who has the better take, and is now turned into who has the better headwear. We have a team puffball, which is whatever David's wearing there on his head, which is meant for girls because you can't find men puffballs anywhere. And then you have what I'm a big visor fan, right? I also live in California, by the way. Big visor fan, nice weather all the time, living it up, having the nice sun. And so that's where we're coming with people saying team puffball versus team visor. Obviously there's lots more team visor than there's team puffball.
See, Aaron, he says that,
and there's more important.
The evidence,
team visor.
The evidence is really against him on that. You see, Jared's argument is really just based on sexism, and that's it. He's got nothing else, and that's why
David, it is
has a much larger following than Team Visor. Jerry's here with me tonight. We've also got Dan, Christopher, Rob are all members.
You're just naming names at this point. These are not all team puffball. You're just naming
this bit every week where I just go through the list of names that's on team puffball, and Jared says, "Oh no, that's just you're just saying names," but they actually are all on team puffball, and he's very intimidated by our large numbers.
So Aaron, we're gonna sit you with this, and then a little later on, we're gonna let you stew on this. We're gonna ask you where you fall on this line. But before we do that, let's do offensive line, and then we'll do a quick not commercial break, but we'll do a quick plug, and then Aaron will let you plug your show, and then we'll move on to the defense. So offensive line: Garrett Bowles, Dalton Reisner, Lloyd Cushenberry, Quinn Miners, Billy Turner. We knew those were going to be our top guys. Luke Wattenberg, we kept Calvin Anderson, which I'm a big fan of. Graham Glasgow, we knew we were going to keep, and then Cam Fleming as our starters. Guys, we waived again. We talked about a little bit earlier. Natane Muti, I think that was a big surprise for a lot of people.
It was.
Interesting to see, and then we still have an interesting situation on who we're going to keep at that right tackle position. So, what are we thinking?
From what I pick up, I think that for that being a whole, the offensive line, that just lets me know that they just didn't trust him in the system and think that he could run in the system that we're running now. Because beforehand, I feel like everybody was talking about Muti being possibly winning the starting job, and then it's like as training camp went, you just heard less and less and less and less, and to the point, man, now he's cut. So I just think he just didn't fit.
He also has been dealing for the last month or so with a knee injury that's been keeping him out of camp, which kind of unfortunately lines up with the pre-draft scouting of him as a kind of an injury-prone player. So it was just kind of, I feel like it was a lot of things stacked up against him. Luke Wattenberg has played well in the preseason and training camp. So you've got the rookie Wattenberg coming in. You've got Graham Glasgow, who reworked his contract to stay here instead of being cut as he was facing. So you've got a veteran there to back up at center or guard. And I think, like Aaron said, with the schematic challenges that he might have been facing, I think it might have just made Muti the odd man out there.
All right. I mean, I agree with all that. There's nothing I want to say. What about the situation at right tackle? What are we thinking?
I think it's Billy Turner's job. I think,
it's his to lose.
And the fact that we saw Calvin Anderson playing at left tackle so much in this last game, he played, I think, 3/4 at left tackle, means I think they just really see him as their quality swing tackle type of guy. So I think Turner's probably chalked in for that right tackle starting spot.
Yeah, they're pushing their chips in on him to be the man for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and not for nothing, we've been using Calvin Anderson as our swing guy for the longest. I mean, how long has he been on the team? Like he's always been our swing guy. Like any of the offensive lineman goes out, it's like I could just hear the offensive lineman coach on the side, like, Calvin, like, where you at, buddy? Let's go. You're in.
Go. You're out.
Yeah, you're in. It doesn't matter. It's like, hey, there's an offensive lineman down the field. Like, Calvin. You're like, well, let's do this. So, yeah. So that's pretty much where we're at. I think it's still going to be, like you said, you guys. It's going to be seen. We got 2 weeks till our first game. Getting prepped for the Seahawks to go up to Seattle. I don't think much is going to change. I think as long as he stays healthy, right? Billy Turner's kind of nagging injury right now. So as long as he stays healthy, I think it's his job to win.
Yeah.
All right. Before we go over to defense.
Speaking of winning, yes, it is time for you all to learn how you can win. The wait is almost over. A new football season is about to begin. Get ready for the NFL Week 1 action with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. To celebrate the return of football, DraftKings is giving new customers a can't-miss offer. Bet just $5 on any football game and get $200 in free bets instantly. I don't know. You guys are distracting me.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't do anything.
Want more action for opening night? Everyone can experience the thrill of DraftKings early win promotion. Get up 7, you win. Bet on any NFL team of your choice, and if your team leads by 7 points at any point during the game, you get paid instantly, even if your team loses. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw all your cash whenever you want. Now, here's what you need to do to make this win happen. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets instantly when you place a $500 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN on only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See the show notes for details. There you go, guys.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Win some money,
Kevin. You
win some money.
You did that flawful.
Flawful. It's because last
flawful.
week you guys were talking about distracting me, and now I'm like, are they distracting me? It's in my head. You guys
Don't look at us. You need to know better. I think that's.
But I like looking at you guys.
Don't look. I mean, why don't we look at Neil's comment while we welcome him to the show? Yet another member of Team Puffball here to grace us with his presence. How you doing, Neil? Thanks.
Is
for
he
joining.
though?
He is, and he's gonna confirm that again in the comments shortly. Now,
before we move on to the defense, David. Before we move on to anything, Aaron, welcome again to the show. Really appreciate you having coming up here with us. Who are you? Where can we find you? What do you do? What are we up to?
So Aaron Johnson is my name. I host my new show, the Broncos Fancast, on YouTube. You can find it, the Broncos Fancast. And basically, I started the show because everybody who knows me knows I'm just a diehard fan, and I'm always talking their ears up about it. But they never want to hear about it. You know, they're just like, here we go, like we don't care. And at some point, I'm just like, I just need to start trying to talk to people who actually do want to hear it. So I started, podcast, sports podcasts, especially over the pandemic, just started, blowing up, so it's just like, what am I doing? I'm missing out by not being a part of this, And I live in LA right now. I moved out here, for music. I was into production and producing beats for people and engineering, and that's what I do out here right now. Also video editing. So I was, I have everything available to do everything. So I just started it, and I'm just like, let's see what we can do with it. So yeah, here we are. Yeah, I appreciate you guys definitely having me on. I'm just getting started, so
Happy to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's been
definitely.
Yeah, so everybody
Definitely.
go to YouTube right now, follow the Broncos Fancast.
Yeah.
Also, DM him for any of your music producing / video production that you need.
Guys need anything? I got you.
Yeah, straight to the DMs. We're sliding in. All right.
Slip and slide into my DMs. I'm waiting for
How's
it.
that
Slip and
look?
slide straight into the. There it is.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Make sure you guys go give that a follow.
Yep.
Awesome.
All right. Well, Aaron, again, thank you for having us. Super knowledgeable already. I appreciate all the input, and hopefully we'll have you on again. But as we move forward, let's go to the defense. Defensive line, David.
Yes, sir.
How you holding up over there, buddy?
I'm feeling good.
Are you though?
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, McTelvin
I'm-
that's a
Yeah,
hard one
this is
now.
what I'm getting at. So for all of you listeners and Aaron, for those of you guys that don't know, David has been an Agim stan for a long time. Basically, since we drafted him, he's been talking about Agim. I thought this day would be a little bit more depressing for you, bud.
I did too.
I mean, listen, the writing was kind of on the wall a little bit. I had been prepared for this because the coaching staff wouldn't stop talking about Matt Henningsen all offseason, the rookie draft pick from this year. So that to me said, you better come on, McKelvin. You gotta show out in these preseason games, and he did in the last one. But
I was going to say you were probably pretty excited for the last game, then, right?
he was great, but it felt like it was too little, too late at that point. Like if you're waiting until you're going against the Vikings' third stringers to really show it, then you waited too long to show it. So as you know, it stinks for him because I really hope he latches on somewhere and has a successful career somewhere else in this league. But it's not going to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
So on
go ahead.
the defensive line, we keep DJ Jones, Draymond Jones, obviously, Deshaun Williams. Was he a 6th round pick? Uzurike?
I think Henningsen, yeah. Oh, yeah, Uzurike is the 4th round pick, I believe.
Yeah.
Uzurike and then Henningsen. So we got 2 rookies out there on that defensive line with pretty rough linebacking core. So that inside crap, it's going to happen all season, and
We'll
you're going to hear it from me.
You
Gonna
say
happen.
that, but we didn't see DJ Jones, Draymond Jones, or Deshaun Williams play in the preseason.
No, I agree
at all.
And I love Draymond Jones. I love DJ Jones. They can only fill 2 gaps, man.
Yeah, but that's why you have a third defensive lineman, Jared. It's you see, you've got a 3.
Yeah, but
and
we're
then they all play-
running a 3-4, dude.
Yeah,
We're
but
not
they all
running
don't- They don't all one gap, Jared. They're all playing at least 1.5 gaps in this scheme.
Did
Yeah.
you say 1.5 gaps?
You heard me. The over/under on gaps is 1.5. You want me to? You want to go? We can. I'll show you off air how you half gap.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out the ab gap us.
You can't half gap, dude.
We'll find out.
Okay,
We're gonna
look. All
find out.
right,
Get it.
Mm-hmm.
all right. So inside crap is not.
Inside crap.
The inside crap is not going to fly. I'm still a little worried. I think the defensive line is still pretty stacked, but when the 3-4, with the outside linebackers going in, what's that?
Aren't they supposed to bring Purcell back? They waived him, right? Or didn't?
Yeah, he's the other player.
Yeah.
Bring him back, all right?
Yeah, he's so. Yep, Mike Purcell is another one that's a vested veteran. I think is the title.
Right.
They cut him, but they didn't have to waive him, so nobody can pick him up. They'll end up bringing him back. And then, again, within the next 2 weeks, this roster that we're talking about right now is probably going to change by a couple people, and I feel like Mike Purcell is one of those guys that's going to end up coming back.
Yeah, no. So it's
he's solid.
Ojemudia and Dulcich who are going to go on IR tomorrow, and then we're going to sign Tomlinson and Purcell back to the team to get it back to 53.
Yeah. It's just
I don't know about you guys, but OJ Moodia, I'm good on him now. I'm over.
I'm worried about
I'm
him.
moved on. I'm moved on from him now at this point.
I really thought he
somebody
was
else.
he could have been a roster cut. I really was thinking he might have been.
I think I think they'll be scouring the waiver wire in particular for corner depth, but that's literally every team in the league right now. I saw the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade from the Saints to the Eagles and thought, well, if it was only a 5th round pick, that would have been awfully nice, but that's
Right.
It's too little too late to say that now.
Yeah, I think corner is a tough one. I liked I'm a fan of Ojemudia from what he did the season where we only had one corner and we were playing wide receiver at the other corner, and he was the only guy out there playing against number ones. I think it was against Atlanta. I think he was against like Julio Jones or something like that year.
Yeah.
And he didn't do terrible. I mean, he let up like one or two big passes, but like he was playing okay as our only corner out there. But unfortunately, just that what we saw there was basically the peak. And I don't think he's really gotten any better as everybody was expecting to. I like the guy on the team as a little bit of depth, someone who's played as a starter before, but other than that, yeah, he was a little rough in those preseason games.
Yeah.
So I'd be okay if they went out and signed Chris Harris Jr. again. I'd be good with that.
Bring him back.
Bring him back.
Put him in a wheelchair, but bring him back.
Right.
Yeah.
You probably still cover better than OJ Moody.
Dang.
Yeah. All right. So, any surprises in the safety room, guys? That's one of the deeper spots on the team right now. It seems
deeper
like, with Caden Stearns, PJ Locke, Darian Turner-Yell, the last guy rounding out that room. They think probably he's going to be a special teamer for them.
He's a guy who could develop, though.
Yeah.
I think they have like really future potential in him. So I was really looking to see what he was doing on the field. He seemed to be playing well. Usually heard his name for more good things than bad out there. So
yeah, definitely.
That's a name that I really want to watch over time. I think next year especially, he could be making a name for himself. So just be on the lookout. Be a surprise name for you.
There you go. All right.
I think we have the best safety room in the NFL, to be honest. Just Kareem Jackson and Justin Simmons alone, I mean, it's hard to find a better duo than that. And then with Caden Stearns and PJ Locke, like, we're set.
Mm-hmm.
We're set at safety position.
Yep.
So at 5'11", 200, was he playing our strong? I guess I wasn't really paying close enough attention to. Was he playing that Kareem Jackson role? Because I know he rushed a couple times.
I don't even remember, honestly.
Yeah, I think Turner-Yell was playing that strong. I mean, at 5'11", 200 pounds, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to use him. Probably. I mean, he was probably another guy that's going to be a special teams guy as we go forward, and that's probably why he's stuck around. But
now I don't think we've talked about the pass rushers, have we?
No, you kind of skipped straight to safety.
I mean, was it you? Somebody just skipped straight to safety.
It was 100% you. Yeah,
can't
no,
remember.
I was going to go. I was going to go to the most important position on the defensive playing field.
Well, now we've saved it for last because it's definitely not inside linebacker.
So inside linebacker is the most important position on the defense.
It's not.
But it is.
All right.
David, what is the single most important? So on the offense, it's obviously the quarterback.
Okay.
What is the single most important position on the defense?
In this defense?
On a defense.
All right. Most defense is pass rusher.
You think pass rusher?
Yes, Jared. What league do you think it?
Why?
Why? Because you have to. It's a passing league. You're sacking the quarterback. It's what you're there for. And I will also say that I think
ask the Tennessee Titans how that worked out for them.
What did the Tennessee Titans have to do with it?
Not pass.
When was the last time the Tennessee Titans were in the Super Bowl?
In the Super Bowl, but they've made the playoffs more times than we have in the past 8 years.
Great, but which teams were who were last year's Super Bowl teams?
The Rams.
The Rams and the Bengals.
The other team.
Now,
the Bengals.
Did they get there with their running backs, or did they get there with their quarterbacks? Was it Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase that got them to the Super Bowl, the Bengals, or was it Joe Mixon?
I mean, it was their defenses. So
was it their defenses, Jared? Was it their defenses?
But it wasn't their pass rushers. It wasn't their pass rushers that got them there.
Okay, you're right. Von Miller had nothing to do with it, Jared.
He really didn't.
We'll forgive
Von Miller.
They let him go.
He did get MVP votes.
Let's see.
He did get MVP votes.
I'm looking at Von Miller's playoff stats.
He didn't do.
Yeah, let's look. Hey, of your top 10 players in the league, how many of them are pass rushers?
Well, I mean. You're right. It's mostly, but it's quarterbacks. It's
quarterbacks and interior defensive linemen.
Yep, interior defense. Okay, name 3 interior defensive linemen that aren't Aaron Donald.
Mac. Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack is a pass rusher, Jared. He's an edge rusher.
Dude,
Edge rusher.
I'm trying to back you up here, but
You're
that
not-
was just bad.
I think I agree with my man.
No,
David.
he
I
plays
think
inside, though.
Pass rusher is where it's at.
It's pass rusher and then cornerback. Let's not
yeah, and
play around
cornerback
here.
after
Those are
that.
the most
Mhm.
two important positions on your defense. Those are your stars. It's not inside linebacker or interior defensive line
here's-
outside of Aaron Donald, who is the best player in the NFL. Period.
So this is what I'm going to say about this, and I'm going to let it go. I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
On screen, you're right. On screen, on the stat sheet, yes, pass rusher is the most important on stat sheets. Quarterback obviously is no matter what, because that all their stats matter for games and wins and losses. Right. But your linebackers, your interior linebackers who are in every single play,
Except they're not, because how much? What percent did we play nickel? What percent did we play base defense last year? It was less than 50%. So they're already on the field.
Don't make me look shit up, David.
Well,
you're coming up with stats right now, and I can't fact check you.
Stuff up.
You can take my word for it if you want to. We were definitely.
Will I though?
It's up to you. I don't know. Will you? You just said don't make me look it up. Those are your choices. Either you look it up or you take my word for it. Those are the things that you can do.
I can look it up.
On paper, you're right. Like pass rusher with
And
stats, if you're just looking at stats, pass rusher is super. But in the game, your interior defensive lineman has to stop the run, has to play the pass, has to be able to fill the middle. Like they're also, most of them are the captains of the defense. Like that's who you have to have. That's going to be in every single play.
But
your pass rusher is not going to be in every single. We saw it with Von Miller. Your pass rusher is not going to be in every single play.
But neither your inside. You rarely, if ever, play two inside linebackers on a single play. You also rotate defensive linemen throughout a game. Like it's how many times last year?
David, we run a 3-4 defense.
I understand.
Do you understand what 3-4 means?
Yes,
The outside linebackers are rushers, and the inside linebackers are base defense. And then your three, you have a nose, and then you have two defensive lines.
That's when you take
one
linebacker.
And then when you take the linebackers, they have to fill the B gaps because one has A, and then the other ones on the outside probably have C.
Because obviously your inside linebackers aren't going to be that important. Go ahead, Aaron.
Okay, all right. Yes, Aaron.
The coolest thing is we have people watching this.
Oh,
Okay,
I don't know if that's
you
the
fans
coolest
are
thing.
awesome.
Bless
You
them
fans
all.
are awesome for sticking through that. Anyway, continue.
Quick, I have one question. What teams, what Super Bowl winning teams recently had a really strong linebacking core?
Let's see. The Super Bowl winning, Super Bowl going, we beat them. But the Carolina Panthers, he retired way too young. He retired at like 8 years. What was his name?
Luke Kuechly?
Kuechly. Yep, Luke Kuechly.
Winners.
And not a team you have to go back 7 years for.
Oh, let's Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, but they play a 4-3, don't they?
I mean, it doesn't matter. They still have a
pass rush is really strong as well. Their pass rushers were.
Yeah, but so was their inside linebacker because he was. Yeah, okay, that's fine.
Who was their inside linebacker, Jared?
I don't know. Make me Google it. I don't know the fucking Buccaneers. I just know they had a good interior defensive line and then good linebackers core. Their whole linebacking core was on point. Like, and that's the important part of it. Their whole linebacking core was on point.
Okay.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of the Super Bowl winners from last. Oh, who was the? Let me see. Who was the middle linebacker for L.A. last year? L.A. Rams.
Didn't we take one of them last year? Kenny Young wasn't it? Didn't we take one of?
Yeah, we did.
We did, but and again, he was like their third string interior linebacker, and we ended up taking him and using him as their starter and played pretty well.
One of our first, he was
good. He was
really
good.
well.
Yeah.
Bobby Wagner.
Bobby Wagner signed this year, Jared. He did not.
Yeah,
play
but
there
again, for the Seahawks, was a very good interior lineman or interior linebacker.
When was the last time the Seahawks won the Super Bowl?
Well, they beat us. Don't bring that up.
Yeah,
don't,
all right.
Why do you do that, David? That's fucked up, man.
That's my point, Jared.
The last time they won it was against us, David. This is just wrong. You crossed a line.
It was when they had Richard Sherman, and it was when they had Michael Bennett. It's when they had a pass rusher and a cornerback, not when they had an inside linebacker.
because
we found the line.
Is that what we
David,
we did?
yeah, it's don't bring up these memories, man. Like all of us have PTSD from this.
Okay.
Fact.
It hurt. That hurt.
Okay.
That would have hurt a lot more if we didn't get Russell Wilson.
It's true.
You're right. You're right.
That takes so much.
better
away.
now.
We also have a Lombardi between now and then, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so we're gonna move on because I think everyone's tired of me and David arguing about this. Cornerback. So Pat Surtain, obviously, Ronald Darby, Kawan Williams, Ojemudia, Mathis, and Isang Bassi. So we talked about Ojemudia in pretty depth. Isang Bassi keeps staying on the line. It's kind of a surprise, I think.
I just think
but depth.
Yeah, they didn't have any better options, honestly, as
Yeah.
much as I hate to say it. And Damari Mathis, who had, only got praise from anybody in training camp, didn't really show out as well in the games. So hoping that he's a guy that develops a little more as the season goes along. But yeah, hopefully you keep those two main guys on the field as often as you can, and you don't have to worry as much about the depth there. Knock on wood.
Completely agree. Yeah, I like Damari Mathis a lot. I think if you're a George Payton draftee, I think you got some high upside. Easy because it just seems like he's just like the past couple of years. We have 2 or 3 or 4 rookies that hit. It's just it's hard. It's hard to. I don't see other teams getting with rookies like that. Damari Mathis, he's showing a lot of high upside for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just got.
Even if you just take Javonte Williams alone, like him alone is such a great. The fact that we traded up to get him and stuff, right? So,
and they have division to release Phillip Lindsay when he's playing. When he's a good back and everybody loves him, to be like, I'm gonna go get Javonte instead.
Yeah,
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, before we get into some closing comments here, I'm going to go ahead and run down everything. Yes.
Kev, we have one position, probably the second most important position on the team that we have to discuss.
Okay.
Apparently outside linebacker / edge rushers, super important.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
So,
see,
we'll talk about these guys. We'll talk about these guys real quick. So obviously keeping Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory are big offseason acquisition. Baron Browning makes team, which we love, and I'd love to see him kind of step up a little bit more into a position we were expecting him to be. Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, and then Aaron Patrick, I think was kind of an interesting keep there. What are we thinking about the second most important position on the defense?
Go ahead. Oh yeah, I love it. I think we're deep. I think we could afford to trade Malik Reed. Because just specific Baron Browning alone is just shown he can probably be a starter right now at this point.
Yeah.
So we have him, and then Nick Bonito. He's coming into form. He got a couple sacks back to back last game. So I think we're pretty deep. And I think it's just great that George Payton was able to, get a draft pick out of Malik Reed. And that's a positive sign for our pass rushing core. Just the fact that he's able to trade somebody away who like Malik Reed, who's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, I thought it was, there were actually a couple surprises at the bottom end of this part of the depth chart for me. Specifically Patrick, who's less of a surprise to me because I think he plays really well on special teams. I think that's one of the reasons they really wanted to keep him. Jonathan Cooper, it felt like, has had a really, really quiet training camp and preseason. So, maybe they just want to give a Peyton draft pick another chance to stick over, a guy like Reed who was, one of those guys I think was going to be the odd man out maybe. And since they were able to get draft pick compensation for Reed, it made that decision a little easier. But yeah, Cooper, to me, that it would not surprise me terribly to see him be one of the first to be cut if they decide to add help at another position before the season starts. And that's sucky to say about any player, obviously, because Jonathan Cooper works his ass off to try and make this squad. He's a better athlete / football player than I'll ever dream of being. But it's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that's the big debate right now is why trade Malik Reed and keep Jonathan Cooper and Aaron Patrick. Take what it is, but George Payton mentioned that he wanted him to go to Pittsburgh specifically because he fit better in the system. It might just be talk, right? It might just be kind of like, hey, yeah, of course we wanted him to go to the team he ended up going to, but they wanted him to go to somewhere that he was going to be used and probably start / have at least a backup role as opposed to being a third stringer / special teamers here.
And that's it, yeah, because I think it is clear that he's fallen behind Benito and Browning on the depth chart as well as Chubb and Gregory. So it would not be real easy for him to see any kind of snaps.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
Agreed. All
right.
Okay.
That rounds out our team.
Yeah, that's it. I guess. Squad. Do you want to start closing thoughts or what?
I lied. I know we're out our hour, and I'm sorry, but
you're fine.
The other big debate. We haven't
even talked about this. Yeah.
Waitman win the job. I know a lot of people have been talking about because it being a Sam Martin being a roster cut due to money really was the big discussion. George Payton said it had nothing to do with money. It had everything to do with how they played, and Corliss Waitman is our new punter, guys.
I love it.
I think. What do you think? Do you think that's real, or do you think that's just a good GM press conference talk?
I think that's GM press conference talk for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Sam Martin was not $2 million better than Corliss Waitman.
Oh,
that's the way it is.
100%.
Yeah. Good way to look at it.
Yeah, they were probably equal throughout the whole punter tryout thing, and then they were like, pay $2 million extra for this guy or not.
Yeah.
And it's weird to think of a punter as an upside guy, but Corliss Waitman of the two is the upside guy just because he kicks lefty. The ball comes off his foot a little different. It's a thing in the NFL. It's not a big thing.
It's happened before.
No, it's a thing for analysts to fucking talk about.
It might be.
It happens.
But
it has an effect every now and then. But
for what this is worth, all of the punts that had a 5-second hang time during training camp came from Waitman's foot. So and that if that more than anything else in the mile high air is going to be a key thing. Yeah. So
and we're going to be punting probably 50% less than we have in the last.
That's
5
what
years,
I was just going to talk about.
Right?
Yeah. Thankfully, we don't have to rely on our punter.
Yeah,
like we have been.
And I think the difference between distance and accuracy this year is going to be different, right? I think last year we probably needed a little bit more distance on our punts, and this year we're going to need a little bit more accuracy, which I'd like to hope is what they're focused on. That was something that he said. He said he had just had a more accurate kick, his kicks were a little bit more accurate. So we'll keep it there and let's pin him back within the 10 a couple times, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's going to be great. There was one other thing, I guess, just overarching comment, and maybe we can talk about overarching comments of the preseason games before we go into the closing thoughts. But, while obviously we didn't see really the playbook at all, it was all very vanilla plays, very, very basic plays, right? I think what we did see is maybe a taste of the identity of the offense. A lot more aggressive. We saw them being, aggressive on the third downs, third and longs, not just throwing to the chains, but developing plays, and the quarterbacks looking for those players further down the field, right? So that alone is just such a huge positive to see from this offense, something we haven't seen in years. So,
yeah, I absolutely love it. I love it's like beforehand, everything was just so old. It was like an offense from 1960s. It felt like now we're still based, we're still going to be based around the run and things like that. And I love everything just feels like it's like real baby. It's, it's like a little 6-7 yard passes and runs here and there just to open up the long game. And it's just going to work to perfection. It's going to work great. Yeah. We got the best long ball thrower in the game, and his play, he's one of the best play action quarterbacks in the game. And
when that run game gets going, he is extra dangerous. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just Russell Wilson is just such a perfect fit for our identity and what we're trying to do. So
yes, sir. Yes,
Absolutely.
sir. David, what about you, man?
Is it real? Like it's like really real. Like
it's like actually Russell
over.
Wilson time. Like this is the countdown has begun.
Like I guess we have another week before like we're talking about it being game week, but even that like it's like the preseason's over, training camp's over. There's nothing to do but do it.
It's time.
We've come a long way from dead inside in February.
Yeah, we have
a long way.
Yeah, we have. Very true.
I have 2 questions for you guys. So one of them, they're separate. One of them is since we're on this topic of Russell Wilson, what do you guys think? Do you guys think he's corny?
Yeah,
but I love 100%. Yeah, and I'm here for all of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
he's my corny.
And I'm in the minority where I'm like, it's hard for me to think that somebody who's married to Sierra, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, just one of the best players in the game. You saw his truck that he drove up in. It's like a guy like that it's impossible to be corny to me. You can't be corny when you have that much on your resume. Like, it's just like as a man, you can't compare to that. It's hard to be corny. It's hard
I respect the shit out of it because he's
so authentic.
He's like he has nothing to prove.
Yeah.
Like he's coming in, he has literally nothing to prove, and he's like, I'm just gonna do me.
Wilson. Like I'm Russell.
Yeah, everything on his resume is cool. But because he says "Let's ride," funny.
Let's ride. Yeah. For the record, that video was super corny.
Yeah.
It was. The whole video.
Oh yeah.
And it's also the Mr. Unlimited stuff, and like I really think that is who Russell Wilson is, but he's also definitely like this super dynamic, incredibly driven, like, so it comes off as genuine. If that like the corniness, like it's not like it doesn't come off as an act or just like, this is my public facing. Like that's Russell Wilson, but he's also this like super ambitious guy who like goes for everything he wants, this, that, and the other thing. So yeah, I think it's real, but I also think he's not that all, if that makes sense. Like not that all the time.
He's still driven. He's still focused.
It's like, is it, it sounds corny and all that right away as soon as it happens, but is it still corny when all of America is now doing it? You know what I mean? It's like, let's ride. Oh, he's so corny, but now
it's so corny, but now
everybody's doing it.
I have refused to say it. Everybody else here at Orange Weekly has said it once. I have refused.
I'm Let's Ride every episode.
Jared, Jared has the same philosophy for Let's Ride that I have for the Wave. I get it. I respect it, Jared. I respect.
That's what you're being looped in with. Okay.
Hey, Fidel, I love this question. Who is the face of our franchise right now?
I think it's Russell Wilson.
It's
a guy who hasn't taken a single snap for the Denver Broncos.
Yes, I do. I think just because he's that big of a personality and because he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
And what he's already done in the community. The level of impact exactly for the community. Yeah,
right.
I mean, it was the day after the news broke that he was coming to Denver, and what does he do? He, they go out and they buy a Broncos shirt for his wife. He probably buys something orange, and they go to the children's hospital. Like, I mean,
that's his thing, and I love it. I'm here for all that.
The Broncos.
His thing with the children's hospital, no matter where he's at, is amazing.
Yeah. To me, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was just gonna say, speaking of his wife, I hear so many analysts keep calling her Ciara. I have to tell, it is Sierra.
It's
Sierra. She is a legend in the community. It's just disrespectful.
She's a fucking star.
Long name. She's a star. Yeah.
Absolutely. She's as like if Russell Wilson. I mean, Russell Wilson is the Tom Brady of that relationship, and she's Giselle. Like she's the actual star here, and that's like there shouldn't be any argument about that.
Right. Yeah, you can't. His name isn't LeBron James. It's LeBron James. Nobody's gonna call his star.
Don't mess that up.
This is Sierra. This is Sierra. She's a queen.
Absolutely.
You gotta call her by the right name.
Absolutely. Now, Jared, back to the face of the franchise. As far as I'm concerned, the Mount Rushmore of this franchise has 2 quarterbacks and 2 running backs on it. And those are, I think, the faces of the franchise for Denver as far as the Broncos go. It's John Elway, Terrell Davis, Peyton Manning, and Floyd Little. Those are the 4 for me. So that, to me, like that's who Broncos country's going to glom onto. Yeah, there's other heroes, and we'll do an entire show about how robbed Randy Gradishar got again this year from the Hall of Fame. Definitely other names and other positions that we'll remember, but I think that's just the face of the franchise comes from those positions first to me.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree, and I not that I disagree with Russell Wilson. I'm a little bit. It's hard to throw your whole franchise into a guy who, first of all, did us dirty. And second of all, hasn't played a snap for us.
I think we did ourselves
season.
dirty.
Fair enough. How dirty
yeah.
did Peyton Manning do us in the early to mid 2000s? Never in the Super Bowl, but like a couple of times in the playoffs. I seem to remember. A couple.
It was always
David. I wasn't drunk in a Buffalo Wild Wings in Pensacola at that time. I don't know where I was. I was not crying I was not crying in a shot glass that I'd taken.
There was no traumatic memory associated with
traumatic memory associated. I just remember hating Russell Wilson at that time because he was so good. Like he was just so good. Like stop being good. Yeah. This is so frustrating.
I used to hate Peyton Manning in that same manner. I used to absolutely.
Yeah.
I lived in Indiana.
Respect the hell out of
Indiana.
Oh yeah, you lived in Indiana.
Yeah, so it was just nothing but just Colts blasting us all the time and Colts fans and everything. So I was so happy when they lost against the Saints in the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then that same hate that I have for him is the same feeling that made me cry when we got him. I was so happy. I was like,
I didn't think he was funny either, and now I think he's probably one of the funniest people on
hilarious.
TV.
Yeah. Oh, his dry humor is the best.
I used to hate it though. Like he would just be in commercials, and I'd be like, "Oh, I fucking hate that guy so much." oh my god!
Now that Saturday Night Live skit is the greatest skit ever.
Yeah,
oh my god, so funny.
So funny.
Jeez. Good shit.
So yeah, I just it's hard to think about the face of the franchise being a guy that we just kind of grabbed. I don't even think Peyton Manning, honestly, I don't think Peyton Manning was our face of the franchise till after his first year here.
Oh no,
I don't think we threw him.
I think that's true.
I don't think we threw him as our face right when we got him.
I think they threw him out there as the face. I don't think he became the face of the franchise to fans until after that first season though.
Yeah, and now not for nothing, I love Broncos marketing. Like what they're doing, that team that's doing the Broncos marketing is doing a great job.
They really leaned into Let's Ride, that's for sure.
They did Let's Ride. Well, yeah, that was corny. But
they've got Let's Ride flags at the game, and they just run across the field.
I'm telling you, like the dude hasn't played a snap for us yet.
Mm-hmm.
He's on the stadium. They've marketed the shit out of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good question by Fidel here. What is more popular, or Omaha?
I was going to say Omaha might be the
Omaha
rival.
Yeah.
We still use Omaha. I think that's still used across high schools across the nation. Yeah.
And I feel like we should also point like that. I don't think Peyton Manning is the originator of that either, but he definitely said it on mic an awful lot.
He made it hot.
Yeah.
David. Be less miserable. Let us have our thing, dude.
I can't be less miserable. Your horrible takes about the most important player on a defense have ruined my mood.
The inside linebacker is the most important player. They have to fill so many roles and have to be a captain of a team. You know what? We'll take this off mic. We'll do this.
Okay.
Meet me at the flagpole at 3 p.m. Let's do this.
Oh, we'll be at the flagpole.
We love each other. What can I say? We love each other.
Fidel, I think I should storm off in disgust.
Right?
Yeah.
What I'm thinking about doing. That would mean that Jared would win, and I can't let that happen.
That's hilarious.
Speaking of Jared winning, Jared, your last for closing thoughts on, I guess, just big thoughts on the preseason in general.
Oh, I'm last on the closing thoughts. I mean, preseason. We didn't get to see a lot of our starters. I do agree. I think that the offense was kind of a vanilla version of what we're going to see, but also a much better. We didn't see one jet sweep that was not thrown or used, so that was great. That was cool to see.
We did.
I think Jerry Jeudy,
and it was a touchdown.
And it was a touchdown, yeah. And I think Jerry Jeudy is going to be used a little bit more effectively. I think the one thing I like about Nathaniel Hackett so far, / what I knew about him when he was in Green Bay, I think the things that he does is use his athletes in positions that they need to be. And I think when we have a guy like Jerry Jeudy, we have guys like Cortland Sutton, they're going to take advantage of the matchups, which is something that we haven't seen. And that's something that I like to see in the preseason that I've seen so far, and I want to see as we go into when we get those starters back. Russell Wilson is 100% going to take advantage of matchups as he gets out there. There's no way DK Metcalf is a top 15 wide receiver in this league, and you're going to see it this year. I'm going to say it right now. There's no way DK Metcalf is a top 15 wide receiver in this league. You're going to see it this year because Russell Wilson was thrown to him. Now we got Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton to throw to. Those guys are going to be top 15s. DK Metcalf's not going to break 1,000 yards this year. That's my bold statement right there.
Okay.
That's just where I'm at. So I love it. I think that we have a unique offensive system. However, I'm going to preface that with also, we are brand new offensive coordinator, brand new quarterback. Let's give him some time, right? I'm not going to jump on the dead inside train, David. I'm not going to step on the dead inside train until
I'm off the train.
Yeah, until about halfway through the season when we can kind of reevaluate where we're at. I think we have so much to look forward to, and I'm here for it. I'm so stoked.
Awesome.
I mean, with the way Pat Shurmur ran things on our offense, there's no way to go but up from here. So
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, if we get Jerry Jeudy another jet sweep, I swear to Jesus.
Yeah, they better hand it to him. If we do it, they better hand it to him.
Yeah, we better give it to him.
Right,
or pass it to do something with it.
Right.
Jeez. Well, gents, let me run through the list of all of our content we have coming up for you guys. Starting next week is really the full week 1, right, Jared?
Yes. Unfortunately, we have no games this weekend.
Yeah, no games this weekend. But
next week is we're in full season mode next week, guys. Like we're in full season.
Yep. So that includes the Monday night Orange Weekly After Dark starts at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. We also got this show, the flagship show, Bourbon Broncos No BS, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we'll also be starting up our after show called the Orange Weekly Backstage, where you guys can just hang out with us, not necessarily talk about football. We just hang out, have some drinks, and have some good times, good chats. So check us out there as well. I also got the pregame podcast, the postgame podcast. Those are on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever you listen to your podcast, we're there. The pregame podcast also goes live to YouTube only. So make sure you follow our YouTube channel. Make sure you just go search for Broncos Orange Weekly and you'll find us there. We also got the game day stuff, the tailgate talk 1 hour before the game starts. And then our famous halftime hash. So as soon as halftime starts, pick up the phone, go grab your snacks, whatever, go to Facebook and tune into the halftime hash as we break down the Broncos game and hear your thoughts from it. So it is time, guys. We are here. Week 1 is right around the corner.
One more thing, make sure you follow the Broncos Fancast.
Absolutely.
On YouTube. Do you have a Spotify / podcast? Are you doing a podcast too?
Not yet. I am planning on doing some audio to put out, for the audio listeners as well, who aren't on YouTube as much. But I definitely plan on doing that. I just dropped another episode this morning. Definitely go check that out. Also, you were talking about the hats earlier, so I wanted to get.
Oh yes!
This is it. This is it. Drum roll, please. We want to get back to the puffball versus.
I am a puffball guy.
Yes, Aaron, welcome.
I will say the puffball hats. They'll still have, to me, the youth. Once you go visor, that means you're just full on dad mode at that point.
You got a nice bald patch.
The youth is gone.
No bald patch.
Oh, you're working on
hair.
This is your bald patch right here.
You're working on it. Exactly. That's just youth is gone at that point.
I love
another thing I noticed too. I noticed that we all have we have this guy.
Oh yes,
this guy.
Well, almost everybody.
Everybody.
I don't have that. My old when I lived with my roommate Paul, he had that, and I did not.
Okay,
and then we moved out.
Good enough.
That is a mustard yellow.
No,
for the
according to the Broncos, on the Broncos official trivia they had before the game, it just said yellow, not mustard yellow.
I will not accept
You
an
need to
asterisk.
concede that
I
you
will
were
not accept an asterisk. next to my
concede.
score.
Damn it!
No, I won't do it. No, I won't do it. Now, has our audience had just about enough of our ridiculousness for one night? What do you
No,
think?
I feel like I'm still frustrated about this
You're
puffball
wrong
thing.
about this. And
Aaron, I love your take. However, in LA, when are you ever gonna wear a puffball?
That's true. That's actually.
I'm just
true.
saying.
But I will say this as well. I got the Michael Jordan going on here, so I can't imagine throwing the visor on and and have a ring around
the
my
ring.
head. I can't do
sunscreen
it.
you would have to put
Yeah.
on
the ring.
Yeah. No, that's not
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just go with the.
So
the
in all
ball.
reality, Aaron, you're really neither.
No, he didn't.
You
He didn't say that. He said he was.
No,
into
he said.
football.
I'm just getting to the
In
point.
LA.
Are you
There
gonna wear a
was
puffball?
pause there though.
in
Like,
LA.
I'll say
Okay.
when I first moved here, I did wear it, but at nighttime it gets cool, it cools off
Sure.
a little bit. So
You crank down that
nighttime
AC
I wear it,
air.
yeah, exactly.
you
Now we
crank
talk
down that
beanie or puffball. There's a difference between just like putting something on and then having a little
Jared,
going on.
I want
right?
you to notice.
But I am a big puffball. I'm a puffball guy though.
I want you
Yeah,
to notice how hard Jared is trying to squirm out of this any way that he can. It's really pathetic.
All right.
But it also
it's kind of sad. I feel a little bad. It's kind of sad.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Well, I'll tell you this: once
cry.
I reach
It's fine.
bad mode, I will full-fledged switch to the visor.
You know
Okay.
what? That's fair.
Look, and for the record of the four of us, I guess I'm the only dad here, so
Yeah.
I do have that going for me.
Well, but
So-
without
I
the
didn't
dad
even know
hat,
that.
Jared.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, once everybody flips over to dad mode, next thing you know, we're all going to be all team visor.
No,
We're just
yeah,
going to be
that's
full team
not true.
visor.
Whip
I
out
might
that
flip
amazing
mine
dad
and go
hat
around
behind
and
you.
make.
Oh, did you like the
Whip
dad
out the
hat?
amazing dad hat.
Yeah, the
behind
dad
you.
hat.
This
Yeah.
is
The
my
dad
my barbecue. This is my barbecue slash fiesta hat, and
This-
I'm a fan.
I-
I'm a fan
This
of
is
that.
a hat that
I
you
like
can
to-
wear that's not a visor, but you
I
can
can
still
rock that.
wear with self-respect, and that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Self-respect isn't much.
Self-respect.
I don't
I
have
mean,
much of that left.
No, but more so than I think with a visor still. So
Wow,
yeah.
that escalated quickly.
it did, didn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, should we
We
sign
should
it
end.
off?
Yeah,
let's.
we went
we're
21
gonna
minutes further than we
close
needed
over
to.
here.
It is 8:33.
Hey, bottom line, guys. Look, Broncos are back. It is time for Russell Wilson. We're gonna see what him and the offense are made out of, and hit the ground running because these games count. No longer time to relax while we watch the Broncos games. It's on.
Oh,
Yep,
So
full-fledged crazy mode at this point.
absolutely.
okay, Aaron, you don't know this tradition. You'll catch on, but we always end our episodes on a very strong.
Hold on, you got just tell him so he can do it with
Go
us,
Broncos.
Kevin.
Just
It
do
gets-
it.
yeah.
Just-
You gotta-
So at the end, we all
But-
cheers. We say "Go
but
Broncos."
now
We end on a
he was-
strong.
I figured he
and
was
we
just
cheers
gonna
and go
figure
Broncos.
that out.
Awesome.
No,
very
you
quickly
have
on
to
his own.
include him, Kevin. Like we
I
gotta,
figured
okay,
he was
all
going
right.
to do that.
No, he will now.
Go
Since pouring his
Broncos!
drink.
Oh,
no,
wait,
David,
too
can we
soon.
just?
Too soon? It was too early, guys.
All right.
My
All
fault.
right, and we ended on a strong.
Go.
What I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sip is right, and I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, yeah, I go with the flow, cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, in the zone, here I go, yeah, they know I'm a pro.